Welcome back everywhere to game number 2 of Join Dota League Season number 5's Asian Division 2. It is a 2-game series between Volan Turtures and Kingdom, where Volan Turtures have this 1-game advantage already, having a pretty dominant performance. To be honest, Kingdom, they went for a Chen, but if a push doesn't work out, if you get completely wiped and suddenly lose your advantage, there was no coming back for them, unfortunately. But we're HeflaTV, I'm Couchor, and I'm gonna be joined by Danny today. How you doing?
I am doing really well. I'm very excited. I actually watched the previous game in the client, and my God, I actually wasn't expecting a core Earthshaker. That was phenomenal play. And Ogre Magi, he just got phenomenal farm. You didn't actually think he would really get anything, but he was just getting item after item, kill after kill, and RNG just was blessing the two-headed Ogre Magi. He just kept getting multicasts during the early game, and it really picked off Kingdom. They weren't prepared for that.
I mean, it somehow feels, it doesn't make any sense, but some players are just blessed with Ogre Magi skills. I don't know. But funny enough now, looking at the first bans, an Axe banned out. I believe Axe wasn't even touched in the first game in the draft.
No, but they're probably just preparing for it because Axe is still a strong hero, very strong in the meta. He's very hard to deal with, especially during the early game. He's very naturally tanky, and when he gets that early level 6, goodbye low HP supports because they're going to be chopped down to bits. So
it's sometimes just so painful to watch. From the health bar, you see like the hero having like 60-70% health, and suddenly you still get dunked. It's like, what the hell just happened?
yeah, and he's a great offlane as well because if he can't actually go into the offlane, he can always rotate into the jungle. It's like a Doom, it's like a Batrider. If they can't stay in the offlane, they can find farm elsewhere. So you can do a lot with an Axe, really.
Oh, most certainly. And well, Kingdom now, it is their turn to first pick here. What hero do you expect to see from them?
It's really hard to say. I've actually been looking at the stats for some of these teams, and Kingdom, they have very positive stats with Brewmaster, but their main Brewmaster player isn't actually here. I think he's celebrating Chinese New Year. His name is Chase, so Brewmaster's been banned anyway, so no chance of picking that up. I think they've won every single game that they've drafted Brewmaster for Chase. He is the offlane though, so he runs a really good offlane Brewmaster. But I'm expecting some pretty standard picks, nothing out of the ordinary, and, well, we get a Shadow Fiend. They lots of confidence in the Shadow Fiend pick.
Well, last game definitely had some pretty great farm on the Shadow Fiend, but weren't able to just capitalize on the Shadow Fiend being that far ahead, mostly because they had a BKB flying out, but they just didn't wait for the BKB to be delivered, and suddenly they got wiped while the BKB was mid-flight pretty much. This time around, maybe they're gonna wait a little bit longer, get that core item first. Of course, depending on if the BKB is even necessary up against what Volan Turtures will draft, but Shadow Fiend is a strong hero, has the flash farming capabilities, but I mean, Shadow Fiend for some teams it feels like kind of mimicking the so-called like tier 1 meta game. They don't really have the best players themselves maybe. Maybe last game was just a little bit unfortunate for Kingdom in general. We'll see what the second pick will be. Last time around they went for a Juggernaut in game 1. It's still available if they want to go for that one. Even a Troll Warlord I guess wouldn't be too bad possibly, but Volt picking up a Witch Doctor as the first one. Are we going to see some huge wombo combos here?
We possibly could, actually. They did change it, so Faceless Void, he's not a tier 1 pick anymore. You'll normally see him as that 3rd and 4th pick. You can still combo him with the Witch Doctor, you just can't stick the Death Ward in the Chronosphere anymore, which is a little bit sad because you wonder why Scarith Mage still works, but Witch Doctor is still a very good hero, and keep in mind, even if the Shadow Fiend might pick up a BKB, the Witch Doctor Death Ward still pierces it because it's a physical damage spell. It's not a magical damage spell, so it still goes through BKB. And we have a Batrider second pick. This is actually a really nice setup if they want to try and go for a dual roam with this Witch Doctor and Batrider once the Bat gets level 6 and a Blink Dagger, because these two heroes, they do a lot of damage by themselves.
Oh, they definitely do, and they could quite easily still go for example, like a Scarif Mage. Also, Lion still in the pool as well. So if Kingdom want a great support, Lion might be it. Also, once you get a Blink Hex to counter-initiate the Batrider's Lasso isn't too bad at all. But Kingdom, they might have other plans in mind. We'll see. Maybe they want to go for... I mean, Tidehunter is really not a popular hero at all anymore. Do you have, like, any reasons why the Tidehunter suddenly fell off, or... is it just too slow or too reliant on having that ultimate ready?
Yeah, I actually think it's just he's so reliant on the ultimate. So if you have a team fight and it's either you whiff the ultimate if the Tidehunter dies before the ultimate, or maybe if you don't even have enough damage output for the ultimate, because Tidehunter, he doesn't really do that. He doesn't really scale it in terms of physical damage. He only just has he only has spells to really rely on, as well as the utility he provides. So if you draft a Tidehunter, you need two cores that have phenomenal damage output, plus maybe even extra help with the support. So a Lion would be a nice pickup, a Scarith Mage would be a nice pickup just for the extra damage, but Tide, his ultimate, I think the cooldown for it is way too long. And the kind of heroes that we're seeing nowadays, it just feels like they outshine a Tidehunter in so many ways. Batrider, his ultimate comes off cooldown so quickly, so he can constantly roam around and go for those pickoffs. And I guess the only reason why you'd want to draft the Tidehunter is maybe if you want to try and go for a 5-man push, but even if you try and go for that 5-man push lineup, there is still a chance you're going to lose that one big team fight. That's the problem with this new meta now. Basically, if you lose if you lose 5 heroes, you're going to give a massive gold advantage as well as an EXP advantage to the enemy. And if you do that a couple more times, you've essentially thrown the game away. So it's going to be a game of, can you maintain your advantage, or can you outcarry them in the late game? So it's a very strange meta. I kind of like it because it is very action-packed as well. But for the players, they're not too happy about it, to be honest.
Well, probably not, but at the moment Kingdom did pick up that Disruptor for themselves, so maybe not as great as a Vengeful Spirit in dealing with the Batrider, but Glimpse still pretty decent for that one. Also, having some ways for a long-range disable against Death Ward, for example, just using the Glimpse to stop the Death Ward if nothing else, maybe throwing down the Static Storm if really necessary. But now, Volan Turtures picking up an Earthshaker. Last game had it as a core. This time around, I guess depending on what Kingdom goes for, they can still change their minds, whether it be a support or core, but we definitely know that they are more than capable just running this Earthshaker as the core role.
Yeah, the Earthshaker, he did a phenomenal job last game, so to be honest, I kind of have high expectations during this game as well. He is going to be very useful. The only thing that might be a little bit scary is that, yes, he's going to get a Blink Dagger eventually, but he's still a melee hero, and the issue with melee heroes is that if you clump up, that means that Disruptor is going to have a much easier time throwing down the Kinetic Field into Static Storm combo. That's the fear that a lot of those physical right-clickers that rely on spells really worry about the Disruptor if you clump up. It's like a Magnus, really. If you get too close, if you stick too close together, you're going to get caught in a little bunch, and you might be in a lot of trouble there.
Well, hopefully for them, maybe they can just stay spread out enough, we'll see. As Kingdom do pick up the Lion, can't say it's all that surprising, to be honest. Not that many great support heroes still left in the pool even. I guess like Ancient Apparition, but really situational of a hero there. Kingdom though, they have their 2 supports, Volan Turtures quite possibly as well. So lots of core heroes might be coming out here for Volan Turtures. Unless the Earthshaker heads there, they need a mid laner. I guess Viper still being in the pool, maybe even a Temper Assassin, heroes that could just quite easily deal with the Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, don't forget they actually still have Ogre Magi in the pool if they want to run him again, but the only issue is, yes, Ogre Magi will be pretty good in damage output, but they don't really have anyone to capitalize on the Ogre Magi buff. That's a lot of the times you pick up the Ogre Magi because you want to buff them up with the Bloodlust, and it's a great spell. Bonus movement speed, bonus attack speed, but they don't really have anyone for it. But we are going to get a Viper as our 4th pickup, most likely going to be their mech carrier.
It's always nice to have at least one hero that can go for a mech. Sometimes it's like a Razor and a Viper, for example, or like Viper Chen, something like that. So Viper can rush straight out Aghanims, but mech is going to be excellent for sure. Now though, Kingdom picking up a Storm Spirit. So is this Kingdom's way of just saying that we don't care that you picked up a Viper to kind of counter our Shadow Fiend, we're just going to send the Storm Spirit mid lane instead? And how well does a Storm Spirit even fare up against a Viper?
I actually don't think he does very well. He's got very short range. A lot of his spells require him to be literally right next to his target. So he is going to have a very hard time in that mid lane if Viper is going to be there. To be honest, I'd actually rather have the Shadow Fiend there because he's a ranged hero. And it comes to a point where, yes, Shadow Fiend can actually potentially kill the Viper if he plays well enough, obviously, because mid lane is the skillful lane, whereas Viper, he's got one goal, and that's basically to get the mechanism, whereas Shadow Fiend, he needs item progression, so he needs as much farm as he can get. So I'm expecting jungle stacks from his 2 supports to really make the Shadow Fiend come online ASAP. Whereas Storm Spirit, a lot of the times in Southeast Asia, I actually see them running Storm Spirit in the safe lane, so I am expecting this. I believe we saw a safe lane Storm Spirit yesterday.
Well, I think it's mostly the difference of in the mid lane. At least the Storm Spirit, once you hit level 6, when Viper is also the scariest because you get the Viper Strike available, at least you can pull Lightning out from that, whereas Shadow Fiend, if you get caught, you are probably just going to get dominated. Although early on, definitely getting last hits for Shadow Fiend is usually going to be easier just because you can stay at your own high ground, spam the Shadow Races and be done with it. Also, it being on the Radiant side, it just means that Shadow Fiend can quite easily then stack for himself if need be, push out the lane, go into jungle stack, come back out and just be fine that way. So we'll see Kingdom, at least they're keeping their doors open, but they do lack an offlaner for now. So out of the possibilities, it's a Tidehunter, possibly a Wind Ranger, Puck, Centaur, War Runner. Which offlaner would you recommend for Kingdom?
I'd actually say Clockwork wouldn't be too bad either, just to have the hookshot initiation, long range initiation. He's basically going to be a really good hero to keep Volan Turtures pretty much spread out, because if you get too close to the Clockwork, you're going to get stuck in the cogs, and that's basically where Kingdom say, hey, we've got you where we want you, and we're going to pick you off one by one, so that when these team fights happen, we're going to be going up against 4v5 initiation, or we're just going to keep you locked up all over the place. Like Clockwork, he's a very good disruptive hero, and he's going to be a really good hero to help set up for the disruptor as well. And, well, Ogre Magi, 5th pick.
So I guess this kind of means a core Earthshaker once again. It is somewhat risky to play that, especially since, first of all, if you jump in, you might just get immediately hexed from the Lion, and Kingdom now do go for the Tidehunter in the end. So Kingdom, they have quite a bit of disable, so this core Earthshaker, he might only be able to just jump in, possibly blow up one hero with just the enchant totem damage and those stuns. But after that, it is not very likely that he's going to make it out alive after having jumped in.
Oh my goodness. Well, we are in for a very fun game. I'm actually expecting Volt to take this game very aggressively. Very aggressively. They should not play passive at all, because if you look at their late game, you cannot compare it to Kingdom's late game. They've got a Storm Spirit, they've got Shadow Fiend, 2 really good heroes that scale with items.
Well, at the moment, I would probably have to favor Kingdom's lineup. It feels a little bit more stable, whereas for Volan Turtures, it is extremely just execution based pretty much, let's put it like that. Okay. Wow, that's a lot of Earthshaker games for that guy.
Yeah, he's probably very experienced in the hero, so I have high hopes for Propa this game, just like last game. Although, we have a massive rotation coming out from Volt. They might get Beyonce if he's not careful. They get the cask off. There's a fissure available, they actually throw the stun fetch from the Ogre Magi. They are going to get Beyonce. Oh my goodness.
Oh, Gear Spike just a tad too late. Lands on free, but now Fruits, he himself is screwed. Or never mind, Firefly was there for Artilist. If he had himself that stick in Napalm, pro would have been an easy kill. It still might be a kill to be honest. Paralyzing Cask, gonna buy like 1 second for some extra attacks. And what a start for Volan Turtures to get 2-0 before the creeps even spawn.
That's great. Kingdom, they just weren't expecting it at all.
I mean,
this is what Volt need. They wanted to play aggressively, and they've literally played aggressively before the minute mark. So they got what they wanted. So they're gonna have an advantage during the laning phase because they've got the extra EXP and they've also got that extra gold.
Wow. Shadow Fiend now has to be a little bit careful with the supports roaming around from Volan Turtures as well, but man, that start. First of all, Lion, he should not have gotten in there. It was almost certain that the Storm Spirit is dead anyway. Yes, was a nice spike landing on all 3, but it doesn't really matter if you land it on all 3. It doesn't do all that much damage, and it's just not worth giving your own life away for that. Then again, as a support, it's like, I'm totally gonna make it. I'm gonna save my core. I'm gonna save him. And then, yeah, you both die. It's like, goddamn, should let the retards die.
Oh, I think all the supports can sympathize with you today. But yeah, it's really unfortunate. The problem is because Kingdom has such slow movement speed, like the Witch Doctor as well as the Ogre Magi. Ogre Magi is faster by about 5 movement speed, whereas Witch Doctor, he's literally running, his base movement speed is 305, so they both outrun Lion anyway, so if he had more HP then he may have been able to survive, but just because they could outrun him and keep up with him, they just had to throw out their stuns, couple of right clicks, and that was pretty much a dead Lion.
Yeah, now with the first kills, I'm not too sure if Volan Turtures were planning to lane like this. Of course, Ogre Magi was just kind of roaming around now, heading back towards the top lane, but even if the supports, the Ogre Magi and Witch Doctor, were roaming around like 24/7, it would be perfectly fine because Viper crushes Tidehunter on a lane anyway. So Tidehunter, the best he can hope for is just some XP, and he's level 3 already, so not doing that bad in that regard at all. He is slightly getting more XP than the Batrider, but Batrider can quite easily go into the jungle if need be, and now, god, can they get the Tidehunter kill? A few more attacks maybe as Witch Doctor tanks up the creep wave for a little bit too long. So level 1 Maledict not gonna be nearly enough for now, but god, are they gonna get the kill? Nice Earthspike lands on 2 Propa, in a lot of trouble, gets the Fissure, but a little bit too late. The Firefly will still be enough, I think, to get the kill, maybe not with the Hex. Oh god, one more attack, he's gonna get close enough, he has boost after all, but that wasn't all that bad for Kingdom.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. They managed to secure the mid-Earth Shaker just for support, so it's not too bad. The line, he got level 2. I don't know if he got level 2 from the kill though. If he did, then that would have been a little bit of a bonus. I don't think so, because he used the Earth Spike. No, he used the Hex. Oh, I'm not too sure. I'm confusing myself.
Yeah, he had both, so he might have been level 2 before this even. Not entirely sure. He definitely had Earth Spike before skilled up, because he used it early on as well. So maybe just got the Hex mid-fight kind of. But he's stacking out the jungle a little bit for the Shadow Fiend, who is already having a pretty excellent time. 14 and 4 up against a 7 and 0 Earthshaker. That was pretty much what happened last game as well, to be honest. Earthshaker getting dominated in the lane, but once he got his Blink Dagger, suddenly things changed. And even now, doing so much damage with the Enchant Totem, might even get the kill, but Shadow Fiend a little bit too fast with the bottling up as well. He needs another Enchant Totem, he's not gonna land it though. So Propa, he's gonna have to back off, maybe even die himself to the Shadow Razes, and whoa!
Oh, yeah, that's a definite kill. They have the vision from the I forgot what it's called, the Thunderstrike. Ah, I even played this hero. How do I forget these skill names?
But you take them for granted.
oh, definitely. Although Kompaku looks like he might be in trouble. He's sandwiched in by 2 supports. There's going to be the first stun coming out from Mega Magi. They're even going to throw the Maledict as well. And actually the cast bouncing between the 2 heroes. So I think they may have actually killed the Disruptor there. Very unfortunate for Kingdom. And they might even lose the Shadow Fiend here. Oh, beautiful Fissure coming out from Propa. That's going to be a definite kill there onto the Shadow Fiend. Did we introduce the players? I don't think so.
No, we did not. They just started fighting too early on, so just to introduce them fast. Kara will be playing the Viper for the Dire side, leaving Propa on the Earthshaker with Park Shin here playing that Witch Doctor. Offlane is handled by Artilist on the Batrider, and yes, it was Mesmerizer playing the Ogre Magi as the last one.
Alright, so playing on Kingdom on the Disruptor, we have Yomu Kompaku in our safe lane. It's going to be the Storm Spirit played by Beyonce. In the middle lane on our Shadow Fiend, it will be played by... Okay, so I actually found out what this guy's name is. His name is Lee Honky. So we have Lee Honky on the Shadow Fiend. We have Fruits on the Lion. And lastly, we have Dre Niche on our Tidehunter.
Lee Honky, yes, that rings a bell. That is a just standard player for Kingdom at least, or it has been for some time. Bottom lane though, we might see some action as Beyonce does go down. No level 6 means no ball lighting away, and now suddenly 1 stack of Sticky Napalm, make it 2. Paralyzing Cast, not off cooldown yet, but they don't even need it. So another 2 kills for Volan. Nicely done, of course. Batrider getting closer, and mid lane, they get the stun up onto the Shadow Fiend. Fissure to follow as well, they need another Enchant Totem. They're not gonna stay in close enough. Oh, the Earthspike again onto suddenly Mesmerizer in a lot of trouble himself. The Hex comes out once again, just making it so that Enchant Totem didn't come out soon enough. One more punch, Propa. He's gonna be just fast enough, but I have to say, Fruits, he's been landing some pretty good Earthspikes up until this one at least.
Yeah, can they get Propa though? I don't think so. They don't have enough damage output, unfortunately. Fruits doesn't even have enough mana for any spells aside from the mana drain. And actually, Kompaku looks like he's going to be the target here. He's going to have the cast bounce between the creeps. Not going to connect onto him though. Fissure going to actually block his exit. So Kompaku, he's stuck in between the trees. But they do get the Fissure onto Propa. Can they finish him off though? That wasn't going to really connect, unfortunately. Oh my goodness. The anchor smash. Because it just, on the very edge, they didn't quite get it, unfortunately.
The attempt was admirable, at least from the Tidehunter. He tried to help out, but no gosh, nothing he could do otherwise. I'm not too sure if he was like entirely on the edge of it anyway, but did go for Tranquil Boots, so he's going to be trying to farm out those Ancients, try to get anything going for himself. At the moment level 5, so not that bad in levels, but farm-wise only 4 last hits. Compare that to the Viper, 38 and 14. Easy dominance of the lane anyway for him. Batrider, up to 1.4k gold as well, so about 2/3 of his Blink Dagger is done. Once they get the Blink Dagger, they're just going to crank up the aggression, especially considering Witch Doctor already level 6 this early on.
That's very early for a Witch Doctor to get level 6. You should never get a support get level 6 so early. He's been in... Oh, he's participated in 8 kills. 2 kills for himself and 6 assists. This Witch Doctor has been all over the map helping his team.
And it's not like Witch Doctor is like the best roamer in the game. Paralyzing Cask, it's like... It has the potential to be one of the greatest stuns, or it's just gonna be like a 1-second stun and that's it. But he has done a pretty damn great job. Ogre Magi though isn't level 6 quite yet. Doesn't have nearly as great of a game as it did last time around, but for their team in general, it's still looking awesome.
Looks like mid is going to be the target of this 3-man smoke gank. Both supports as well as our Batrider is going to be in position for this soon, and Earthshaker's there as well, so let's see if they can get the kill. Should be relatively easy. They have 4 heroes for this one hero. Looks like Honky. Actually going to commit the ultimate as well. They're using everything to get the kill. Shadowfiend going to drop straight away, and can they actually get the glimpse? They will get the Batrider. Can they kill him though? There's going to be the Hex followed up by a stun with our Lion. Actually doesn't even need it. They get the Ravage. They're going to connect onto 3. Looks like there's one. Can they get the second one? Mesmer, he is tanky, but is he tanky enough? I don't think so. Even Zip with Beyonce. The Fissure though actually blocking out Mesmer's exit. So 3 for 1. Great trade there for Kingdom. They lost their mid, but they get an offlane and 2 supports.
It's like either you back off as a whole or you stay there as a whole, but they didn't prepare for the glimpse to happen, I think, or they should have been like, screw it, Batrider dead. It's still fine, Batrider for a Shadow Fiend, I think, at this point in the game. But they just went in like, they just don't go high ground like that, at least not as 2 supports only. Huge mistake by them, so Kingdom, I'd have to say they're pretty happy about this, especially the Storm Spirit. He hasn't been getting all that much. I mean, lasted twice, 42 isn't bad or anything, but has died twice this game already. So Storm Spirit definitely a momentum-based hero, and he's just going to be so happy about those kills that they got.
Yeah. Do you think he's going to go for a Bloodstain or an Orchid this game? I've noticed a lot of Storm Spirits actually prioritizing Bloodstones over Orchid.
I think I might even like Bloodstone better this game, although it's going to be somewhat hard for you to stay alive because there is still quite a bit of lockdown on the side of the Dire, so I wouldn't be completely opposed to even like a straight out BKB, although that's never an item you want to go on like Storm Spirit or a Queen of Pain or heroes as such. But Orchid, I'm not too sure if it's entirely necessary this game. It's not like there's a puck or anything like that that can just blink out on the enemy side.
I think it would still be a viable option, especially with the potential of a Batrider to blink in. If he can actually get the, if he has quick fingers and really watches his teammates, if he sees a Batrider come and just throw the instant Orchid, and that's going to be a dead Batrider, especially when there's no force stuff on him.
Yeah, I think it's like not a bad pickup. It definitely serves to like get solo kills, maybe even make it so that Earthshaker can't stun, for example. But it's just I feel like he might be a little bit too squishy. Oh god, the glimpse!
That was dirty. That was dirty.
So
Just
annoying.
send someone back.
Glimpse can quite possibly be one of the just most annoying spells in the game, I think.
Oh, it is. I can't tell you how many times I sent people back to Fountain when they TP in
But
to the offlane.
it's so satisfying if you yourself do it, but if you're on the receiving end, it's like you want to curse the day that guy was born or something. Oh man, well, Artel now farming up a couple of stacks in the enemy jungle. They might even get the kill with this. There's the lasso coming out. They need more damage to enchant out them. Number 1 coming out. They need more stuns. Echo Slam spent. Storm Spirit comes in to clean up though. They still have the Shadow Fiend alive. They need a few more Shadow Races though. Another enchant totem, but Earth Spike will buy enough time, I think. Shadow Race. It's just Kingdom, they're pretty good at reacting, and Volan Turtures, they're just going in too deep in most cases.
Yeah, it feels like they're playing a little bit cocky compared to last game, and also the fact that they're ahead. They think they're ahead, and they say, oh, we can actually be a little bit over-aggressive now, but oh, Kampaku looks like he's the one that's a little over-aggressive this time. Witch Doctor Ward definitely going to secure the kill under him. Fruits, he won't get caught.
God, the Viper TP'd in again. Glimpse back to the top lanes like, you shall not join fights. We don't need your mech in the fight. Go back, go farm. And, well, even with him, he's literally been farming the entire game. Shadowfiend still has him surpassed in net worth though, which is because he has had a couple of jungle stacks to work with. Now mid lane, Ogre Magi just too tanky for Storm Spirit to take on solo, I guess, for now. But man, this Viper, he has the mech, yet he's not joining fights. Usually not a playstyle you want to go for, it's just that item is purely meant for team fighting or just fighting in general. But what can you do if you just get glimpsed?
Yeah, what can you do? He might even go for the point booster as well, just to be that little bit more tanky before he starts to try and go for those pushes.
Well, maybe so. It's not too bad. I mean, Viper, maybe not the best hero who can actually make good use of the farm, but farm is never bad on any hero. But there is a Freeman smoke from Kingdom now. They might really get an easy jump on somebody, especially considering they have the Finger of Death ready, and well, they jump in. Oh god, it's gonna be such a great kill as well. Earthshaker, I don't think there's any escape. Even Finger of Death spent for that one. So they get the quick kill. They're gonna back off for now, and oh, Earth Spike came out.
Earth Spike.
That was kind of random. Beyonce, he goes in, but he's gonna get lassoed. That was Creed at its finest, and with the Death Ward and the Maledict, he will die. They could have just backed off.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate. He wasn't actually expecting so much backup there. Now, I actually wanted to make a quick mention. We have a mech that has been picked up by Lee Honky. So looks like it's going to be a bit of a utility Shadow Fiend until he picks up his first main DPS item.
It's not too uncommon, to be honest, and just having a mech on your team is always going to be nice, especially considering that Volan Turtures, they don't have like a massive amount of burst damage. It is mostly sustained for them. Enchant Totem is kind of bursty, I guess, as he gets a kill with the blink onto the Disruptor now, but if they survive that, then again, do they even want to go into a sustained fight? Because Volan Turtures just lots of ignites, Fire Blast flying out from the Ogre, Sticky Napalms starting to stack up, Viper just being annoying. I mean,
yeah, Beyonce diving a little bit deep, but they get Purper in the mid lane. Actually, there was a TP in by the Viper. He's by himself. He might die, actually. There is Mesmer. There's the Shadow Fiend ultimate pop. There's a Mechanism popped as well on our Viper. There's actually going to be a Ravage committed as well. Not really going to connect on anybody but that Viper, and they're going to go straight onto Mesmer. In the backline, so we have our Witch Doctor. He has no mana though, so he won't actually be able to cast anything else, and he's going to be the next target as well. So Ogre Magi, he does get out safely, but they're going to lose somebody else. Never mind, Ogre Magi hung around a little bit too long. He will get picked off as well. Can they get the Witch Doctor kill? Being a little bit greedy here, though. Kingdom, are they going to get punished? Artist, he is actually here going to be throwing as much as he can at them, but what else can he do aside from the Firefly? He has a Blink Dagger available, but no more mana. Oh my goodness.
It feels like both chess teams are kind of poking at each other. As long as they don't have Finger of Death for Kingdom, or they don't have like a Requiem of Souls available still, they themselves don't have the most just massive of damage outputs. At least not like instantly so. So the fights lasted for rather long. You could see how tanky the Viper is, especially after having used the mech, and that's with only 1 point in the Corrosive Skin for now. It's gonna be even harder later on to bring down the Viper, but with the amount of farm Kingdom have been getting now with those kills, they also got the tier 1 down mid lane, I believe. Or maybe it was, no, never mind, it was destroyed just now, so lots of gold for Kingdom, extra items, and we have a blink now on the Tidehunter. So next time around, it is almost guaranteed gonna hit more than one person.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Yasha picked up on the Shadow Fiend. Is this just gonna be a casual Yasha, or do you think he's going to go for something else? I actually expect it to be a casual Yasha, and then maybe he could try and go for something like a Skadi, if he can find the farm for it. If he can't get the Skadi, what's another cost-efficient item he can actually pick up before that, if he needs to tank up a little bit more?
I guess if BKB wouldn't be too horrible, then again you're up against quite a bit of physical damage also, even if your BKB might still get kind of kited by the Viper Strike. Like you mentioned in the draft already, Death Ward goes through BKB anyway since it is physical damage. So I guess Skadi is still like one of the better options to go for. It's just too uncommon for Shadow Fiends to build straight out damage, and I don't think you go for anything like a Desolator. So Skadi or Meta Style, I guess, are the best options. Maybe a Butterfly. If you can dodge the Enchant Totem of the Earthshaker, that's suddenly a huge amount of damage down the drain for them.
Yeah. They are all in the bottom lane. They looks like they wanted to try and go for the jump. There was a Soul Ring pop there by Beyonce. Left Finger of Death, long range Finger of Death, and Fruits. He gets a little bit of revenge there for his friend. He doesn't get the kill, unfortunately. Storm Spirit's going to snag that one up. And that's going to be an easy T1 tower. They are trying to come in for the defense though. Can Volt actually defend their tower? They have 3 heroes. They have one more coming in into the west. Artless is a little bit far though. Actually, there is going to be Ravage connecting onto 3. Oh my goodness, the combo coming up from Disrupt the Kinetic Field into Static Storm combo. They get 2. Can they get the last one? Viper, Earthquake going to connect. It's going to go for the pull as well from our Storm Spirit. 4 heroes down on the side of Volan Turtures, and it looks like it's going to be an easy T2 tower here for Kingdom. Oh my goodness. It just feels like Volan Turtures, they're playing a little bit... They're playing a bit cocky. They're not staying together. They kind of just go in 1 by 1, 2 by 2. They never really stick together as a team.
And the weirdest thing is that they're going in without the Batrider, their initiator. It's like, what, why, how? No clue, as Manta Style will in fact, be the item that the Shadow Fiend does finish up now. It's not like a bad item. Maybe you can create some confusion once the battle ray jumps in, buy like a little extra second or something for the Storm Spirit or Lion to react with their own disables. But what a fight that was. They get 3 kills, quite cleanly so as well. They get the tier 1, a tier 2 on top of that. Just looking at the graphs now, suddenly up to like 7,500 net worth lead, XP already nearing the 10k mark as well for Kingdom. Things are just spiraling out of control, and Kingdom, they're probably not going to go look for another fight. They're just going to be farming up for the next 75 seconds or so until the Tidehunter gets another Ravage, I think. But Volan Turtures, their lineup is not that great in the later stages of the game, in all fairness. I mean, it's not like super bad or anything. They still had a great initiation, which they're... Oh god, this Tidehunter... No, he blinks out in time.
Nice blink. The courier though. Courier looks like it's going to be the target here. Can the courier get out? There's only got observer wards, but it's still a courier. Multicast going to connect onto Beyonce. He will be able to zip out. Ultimate coming up from the Disruptor. Only going to connect onto 2. Actually, there was a 2-man Echo Slam coming up from Popo. Going to connect on both supports. The Disruptor and Lion already down. There is going to be a TP in coming out from a Shadow Fiend. He's going to be very careful. Manta Star pop. There's also the stun. Actually, there's going to be the cast popping between those illusions. And it looks like that might be the Bane there. Ovely Honky. And he's going to die as well. They even commit a Batrider Lasso for that too. 3-0. Volan Turtures getting a nice little pick up. Nice little picks there. Oh my goodness. Kingdom. They're going to be hitting their heads on the wall for that.
Man, they could have just let the one hero die. Rather, Storm Spirit managed to escape anyway after the static Storm Kinetic field, but they hung around also. Beautiful stuff from the Earthshaker, just getting those 2 easy kills. Those 2 supports, they didn't even stand a chance in all fairness. Now Storm Spirit, he goes in. They're gonna get the kill maybe, but Beyonce himself gets stunned up. Enchant Totem as well, still up to half HP though. They kill the Tidehunter, the tankiest hero on the side of Kingdom for now. Paralyzing Cast gonna bounce to the creep. Artilist hexed up, but Finger of Death not enough to get the kill, and suddenly Fruits in a lot of trouble. God, Volan Turtures, how many kills? Is that like 5 kills in the last minute now? They get the tower, they get the stun onto Yomo as well. They need a little bit more. A poison attack will just do the trick. I think Paralyzing Cast, blink, Enchant Totem. Oh, my god, the damage.
Did you see that damage?
Wow, that's filthy. And are they... Is it their turn to just get the tier 1 and tier 2 both? Never mind. There's going to be a long jump from Beyonce, but he gets stunned. If he goes down, that's going to be disastrous. Nope. Manages to pull lightning away at the last second, but stun into the Shadow Fiend. Poison attack to slow him down now. Has a Manta Style and the mech. Maybe it's going to be fine. Probably is for now, but... Pretty much everything the Kingdom gained, unless Beyonce gets another kill overload to slow down the Viper. Few more punches, but the Fisher buys just enough time, I think. And suddenly... Oh god, the lasso. The fight just keep on going. Enchant Totem, that's gonna be the death of Shadow Fiend, or is it? They don't. Nobody wants to stay too close because the Death Requiem. Whoa, Zoning Ravage, it's fine.
Oh. Alright. But at least they saved Lee Honky there. He was so close to dying. One more right click from the Viper would have finished him off. And actually Mesmer in the middle lane being popped out. Being pulled in by Beyonce. They do get the kill there. That was a beautiful combo coming up from the Disruptor. Can they get another kill though? Viper, he is slowed up. Is there a glimpse available? 4 seconds. He's in range actually, and they don't have vision. So unfortunately, no glimpse on the Viper. My goodness, these fights are just coming every time.
This Storm Spirit though, he was just living on the edge. With the Blaston, of course, has a reasonably big health pool, so I guess it's not that easy to bring him down, to be honest. But had he just died, he was like so close to dying at least 3 times ever since he picked up the Bloodstone, I think. But now he has 10 charges, maybe not the most, but at least he hasn't lost any for now. But that's a huge pickup now. Aghanim Scepter, Witch Doctor with a level 2 ultimate. The biggest thing is though, can he get it for long enough? I mean, every single hero potentially can stop the Death Ward.
Yeah, actually can. Even the Disruptor Glimpse can actually cancel out the Death Ward from the Witch Doctor. And the range for it is huge as well, so he just needs to sit in the back lines. Oh my goodness, Propa throwing the Echo Slam on an illusion! Big mistake there, and they're just going to capitalize on this pickoff. Propa, why? Oh.
The bait was real from the Storm Spirit, and god, that must hurt if you're Volan Turtures. It's like, you were just getting some nice fights, suddenly you lose such an important hero. Batrider though, he wants to go for something. They have 3 heroes smoked up. They want to use the Death Ward. They get the lasso onto Drainage. He doesn't have the Ravage, or does he? No, he does not. So he's probably gonna die. Forced after saving for a little bit, and they're gonna get mesmerized at the very least. Or are they? The mech keeps him alive. There's the Death Ward. Finger of Death spent as well. Beyonce, Paralysis Cast doing a lot of damage. He needs to get to the low ground now. He's gonna have just enough mana for that. The Bottle though doesn't have time to go for that one. Didn't even commit suicide. A little bit weird. And because he didn't, that's just a wicked streak given away now. Or wicked 6 streak that is. Kara glimpse back into 3 heroes. those fights are all so long. Requiem of Souls, not that close to the Viper, but enough damage in any case. Storm Spirit already back with their fast respawn, but Beyonce should have committed suicide or maybe not go as deep to begin with, but doesn't matter that much. Still a favorable trade for them.
He might be able to find Propa. He has vision of him up on the high ground with that Observer Ward. We'll see who jumps on who. Looks like Propa is just going to continue on chasing, actually. Beyonce gonna go for the pull. Is there actually support coming in though? Propa dropping pretty low, down to half HP. Beyonce's kind of zipping around. Fissure gonna connect and Propa's just gonna walk out and bottle himself up. But during that previous fight, Kompaku actually used the Static Storm to cancel out the Witch Doctor Death Ward towards the end of the duration, which I thought was really interesting. It was a very good play, just so that the Death Ward would actually stop bouncing around and actually doing damage, and potentially even go for the stun lock, which happens every now and again.
Oh wow, well, it's unfortunate. I guess Disruptor didn't know maybe how long the Death Ward is still gonna go for exactly, but at the moment we have another few item pickups, and that is one of the firsts. Shadow Fiend going for a Hood of Defiance. Is he gonna just full out finish a pipe from this one?
It sounds nice on paper, but when you build a Shadow Fiend into a pure utility hero, where's his late game presence? Because if he starts building damage items, he's going to run out of slots and he's going to say, what am I going to give up? Will I give up the mechanism or am I going to give up the pipe? And you'd rather have it on a hero that's constantly going to hang on to that item for the majority of the game. And actually, Initiation in the mid lane, Drainage taking a lot of damage though. They will be able to finish off the back right off. Fissure going to be connecting onto 3 heroes. Actually, Echo Slam going to connect onto all the heroes, and Death Ward going to keep the Shadow Fiend in place. He's going to be picked off as well. And Disruptor as well as Lion running away for their lives there. Although towards the base, though, they have a TP in from Beyonce. Not going to actually happen. He actually commits suicide just to ensure that he does not get killed. That was a very, very, very weird fight there for Kingdom. They were not prepared actually for the initiation coming out from Volan Turtures, and especially with the Death Ward keeping the Shadow Fiend in place. He was probably sitting there thinking, what do I do? What do I do? Oh.
Man, it just feels like Shadow Fiend, if he had a BKB, things would be so much easier for him. Just because this Echo Slam completely wrecked them. Had he had a BKB, suddenly you took no damage. They might get the kill on Propa though. They had the Finger of Death level 2. Even the Static Storm spent. There's 2 supports, they're out for blood, but they might not even have enough. Wow. Oh, Beyonce comes in from a long jump, but he gets stunned. No multicast though. Just on the Ignite, and Beyonce gets to the low ground, still takes a huge amount of damage, and with the Maledict, he's probably gonna go down. Propa makes damn sure of that one. They're losing lots of Blast on charges. They're losing ground. Propa at least does die in the end. But now the Viper Strike into Yomo. Disruptor doesn't have a TP either. It's just a matter of time before he's really chased down and killed off. And they get an Ignite on the Drainage as well. No Blink Out. Has a 4-star, but he's going to get lassoed back. My god. We have another Viper Strike as well. 12-second cooldown only. But that Viper Strike went into the Shadow Fiend instead. They're switching targets. Maybe not the easiest target to go for, especially with the Manta style being proc now, but man, those fights are so weird every single time.
We are sitting at more than 2 kills per minute this game. This is a very interesting game here, and actually there's going to be the beautiful cancel coming up from Beyonce. He actually commit the jump just towards the Witch Doctor to cancel that out, so that's going to be really good for them. Drainage going to go for the blink, and there's no Ravage actually available for 30 seconds, so he doesn't really want to die. Beautiful 4-staff on the high ground. They're going to get the kill onto the Batrider. Are they going to keep on chasing? Is the glimpse available? Never mind. They actually have a dead Disruptor on the sidelines, so not going to be able to get that, but Drainage, can he survive that? Oh my goodness, down to 20 HP. Very close.
That blink in, I mean, sometimes it's like, I don't really have Ravage. You blink in, it's like, oh crap, it's on cooldown. That felt like one of those moments at the moment. Well, at least he got an Anchor Smash off onto like possibly 3 targets there, so that's something good. Although not too many heroes even rely that much on right click for Volan there. Still, those fights are so wonky, and in the end, if you look at the graphs, it is a slight lead for Kingdom in net worth for about 2500 or so. The same story for XP as well, but it used to be a hell of a lot more, so Kingdom, they're still doing reasonably well, but not as great as they used to. And the funny thing is, Shadow Fiend, even with this mass utility build, still number 1 in net worth by a pretty comfortable margin.
Is this the end for his utility build though? Is he going to keep on building utility items? I hope not. I actually hope he starts
What can he
to actually
even build for utility? Drums?
He
I
could
don't know.
maybe 4-staff.
Oh, I hope
Maybe
not.
4-staff. I wouldn't actually expect a 4-star on him. I'd actually hope he would start tanking up and really starting to go for those DPS items. If you look at him now, though, he's actually relatively tanky already. He will be able to tank up some of the magical burst. He's sitting on 1.5k HP. We might see a jump here, actually, onto Mesmerize. It looks like he's going to be the instant jump. There is a beautiful lasso. They're going to connect them to Beyonce. Can they get Mesmerized, though? Actually, there's a beautiful slow there coming out from our Viper, so that's going to keep the Honky in one place and Beyonce being kept in place. Can he zip out, though? He's going to go on the high ground. Actually, still sitting in the Firefly. Looks like he might die here. He will not be able to zip out in time, so they lose the Lion, they lose the Storm Spirit, and actually the Honky is still hanging around. Gush going to finish off the Viper, though, and actually is a very low Witch Doctor going in towards the Fountain. They're not going to be able to get him. Disruptor in the backline is going to be dropping down to Pro Bar. I think Kingdom should back out. Now, this is a really bad idea. Witch Doctor Ward going to connect, and actually, Drainage trying to go for a double kill here. Can he get it, though? It looks like they're not going to be able to. The Healing Ward coming out from... That's not a Healing Ward. That's just going to be the Voodoo Restoration coming out from Witch Doctor and Drainage. Able to blink out, so he's going to be completely fine, but Proper being chased up here by the Shadow Fiend, but no blink on Shadow Fiend, so no chasing potential. Oh, that looked like there was also almost going to be an overextension by Kingdom. Almost.
That fight was just all over the place, and was it really the Ogre surviving the entirety of that fight? Although he was the one who, well, he didn't start the fight, but the fight was started on him, really.
Yeah.
It's just... It doesn't even have an Aghanim Scepter, 1.2k HP, but 13 armor, I guess, is pretty damn nice. And the Ravage, it was just used so damn late and for virtually nothing as well. The fight is just so spread out, and Volan Turtures, they made great use of that. I mean, Requiem of Souls only hit a couple of heroes and none of them just full on in the face straight out. Ravage was used just on 2 supports, which got healed up easily with the Voodoo Restoration. So excellent fight for them. BKB is there on Nerve Shaker as well, or has already been used once anyway. At least Beyonce on the Storm Spirit will be getting pretty close to his own BKB, so once he gets that, he's going to feel a little bit safer, but considering the Kingdom, they went in, they had a pipe and everything, that fight went really bad for them.
Yeah, it did actually, and unfortunately for them, yeah, like you said, Storm Spirit's actually going for a BKB, and he's down to 3 Bloodstone charges, so he's still getting more and more, you could say, defensive items to an extent, because he's not getting anything like an Orchid for a Silence, he's not getting a Hex, he's just not getting any of those items to provide him any more damage or utility for his team. He needs stuff to keep himself alive, and when you're building like that, where's your damage going to come from? Because it's not going to come from a Shadow Fiend that's bought a mechanism and a pipe.
They're just maybe hoping to get to like 70 minutes where they've had enough gold to replace those early defensive items. I'm not too sure. Because at the moment, I mean, mostly for the Shadow Fiend, Storm Spirit did go for a slightly greedy build starting with the Bloodstone. But it's just the Shadow Fiend. Mech, okay, it's fine. Mech is fine. It's not too much gold or anything. Then you go for the pipe as well. It's like, it's not even that useful. Well, against the Echo Slam, but it's so hard to time it properly, even to have those 10 seconds within the duration when the Echo Slam comes out. Because if you're Volan Turtures, you see the pipe being activated, you're probably like, okay, let's just wait out like 10, 9 seconds and then go in when the pipe is gonna expire anyway. If they can help it, of course, at least. Sometimes you just have to go in, maybe when your racks are under siege or something, but so far, racks are completely out of the question. I mean, nobody's even gotten close to high ground pushing.
Yeah, luckily for Kingdom, they still got some T2 towers to actually protect their T3s, whereas Volan Turtures, they've got 2 exposed towers. So if they lose any of these fights, I actually expect that mid lane to be pushed out ASAP, because the bottom lane is on you could say it is on the side of Volan Turtures, but it's a longer lane. It's going to take them so much longer to push unless a fight actually initiates down the bottom lane. And a lot of the time, we've been seeing these fights in Volan Turtures jungle or either in the mid lane for Kingdom. So no chance of that bottom lane being pushed out unless Kingdom decide to go for that push down there. And Volan Turtures pushing the bottom lane, literally not an option. It's just way too far.
Man, it's so crazy that the graph is still at the 2500 mark for both net worth and XP. Yeah. It's like, it's not moving, it's not budging at all from that point. I guess it's just the fact that if the Dire side, yes, they might be getting slightly favorable fights, but they're not farming all that well. They just don't have any heroes who can flash farm, like literally none. Maybe the Batrider if there are lots of stacks in the jungle, but that's about it. Viper, he just has to right click them down solo. Earthshaker, I guess, is decent-ish with having the Aftershock, the passive there, but it's just pretty slow going for them.
Yeah. it looks like for the moment, Kingdom, they just want to hold out to that late game, which, if I was them, I would actually do the same thing. Whereas Volan Turtures, they need to get these kills. They're really playing very aggressively. Batrider, gonna try and look for somebody, not gonna find anyone, just gonna run into an Observer Ward and D-Ward that with his gem.
So, Kingdom looks like they're doing exactly what you said, just playing passive. It's perfectly fine for them. Shadow Fiend has picked up that one ultimate orb now. BKB finished on the Storm Spirit as well. So they're getting some extra items that will benefit them in the fights. Of course, Shadow Fiend still has a really long way to go if he wants to finish up the full Skadi. Hopefully it's not going to be Lincoln Sphere, but well, you're up against a Batrider, so it's not completely out of the question.
Yeah. I really hope it's not a Lincoln Sphere. Yes, it'll provide him the chance of not being lassoed, but he needs damage items. He does have the passive to provide him with something, and they also have the negative armor from the presence of the Dark Lord, so they do have a couple of things going in their way, but they need to really start building items to go into that late game. They really have to. They've been building so many defensive items to just try and sustain during the team fights, where it comes to a point where, in Dota, sometimes being a little... having a superior offensive is better than having the superior defensive. So we'll have to see how it goes for the moment, because if you look at their draft, they have a very aggressive draft. They have so much killing potential with their heroes. It just, as the game goes later and later and heroes start getting tankier and tankier, Disruptor, he really loses the killing potential. Lion, his Finger of Death can only do so much. It comes to a point where the damage is going to start capping, and Lion, he will start just being that utility here, and that's where Shadow Fiend and Storm Spirit, they have to come online and really start putting out that damage to their team, because they are going to start lacking at some point when Volan Turtures start becoming very tanky. Because if you look at their heroes, the Viper, he's not actually that tanky, 1.5k HP, Ogre Magi 1.4, Batrider Singer 1.3, Earthshaker, looks like he's the one with the highest HP pool with 1.7, and he's got a Crystallis, surprisingly enough, profile. Gonna be the target, gonna be completely picked off. Oh my goodness, and actually Mesmer are going to be the next target. No blink, no force stuff. It looks like he's going to definitely be an easy pickup here. Oh my goodness, Volan Turtures not prepared for that, and it looks like they're going to try and bunker down into their base, whereas Kingdom, they're just going to go straight for Roshan.
It's like, oh yeah, Earthshaker, pretty much the tankiest hero, at least as far as the health pool is concerned.
Yeah.
Gone, matter of seconds, like done. Oh wow, Ogre Magi, pretty much the second tankiest, depending on if you're dealing with physical or magical damage, I guess, because Corrosive Skin is pretty nice for Viper, but man, that just happened so damn fast, and with this, there's no way this Roshan will be contested. At the very least, Witch Doctor, I think he should still keep on farming. He's only 100 gold away from his BKB, which means that there's absolutely nothing to stop that Death Ward with. If they get that, the BKB to Aghanim Scepter Death Ward might be one of the things that helps them turn this game around.
Hopefully. It just means, though, that if he dies before he can really do anything, he's not going to have any buyback. Looking at the buyback status, we have 3 heroes on the side of Kingdom. All 3 cores have buyback. So they're not playing too greedy. They're not going straight for those items. They have money just in case they might lose the fight. But even if they might lose the fight, Volan Turtures, they don't have the best pushing lineup. If you look at their heroes, do they really have any pushing potential aside from the Batrider? I guess Ogre Magi does a little bit. Maybe the Earthshaker with the Fissure, but that's pretty much about it. Nobody has any really good pushing potential.
If they get to a tower, it's like decent-ish with Nether Toxin and Viper helping out a tiny bit. Enchant Totem is pretty decent in killing towers, but killing the Creeper is definitely not the fastest thing for them to do, and even if they win a fight, decisively enough to go for a proper push, they're still tier 2, so high ground, still a distant dream for them. And Kingdom, they just keep on racking up the gold. They're just farming way more efficiently across the entirety of the map, really. They're farming up their own jungle, more or less all the lanes. Now Beyonce even goes into the enemy jungle a tiny bit there. So...
oh, we have a big item pickup, actually. It's going to be a full Aghanims on our Disruptor very soon. He's got all 3 components, actually. Oh no, it's just 2. He's waiting for 1 more piece, but... this Aghanims on the Disruptor, it's going to be a massive pickup, because it's going to be a really good... sorry, I'm going to rephrase that. Aghanim's Disruptor, it's an amazing item because it means that his Static Storm is going to start silencing items, and especially when you have BKBs on these heroes, they're not going to be able to just say, okay, I'm going to pop my BKB halfway through when some of these spells come out. No, because if you get caught in that Static Storm, you're not going to be able to even use your items. So this is when Volan Turtures, if they see this item pickup, which is going to be very soon, they're going to have to say, okay, we have to really time our items, because if we do not, we are going to get picked off very quickly. Just how we saw the poor Earthshaker just get ripped to shreds.
Man, it's the Earthshaker who has a BKB as well, but he really just was not expecting that jump. And now they are still looking for something more. Yomo, if he gets a glimpse on somebody, that just might be easy kill. Maybe easy couple of kills when Volan Turtures even try to come in and help, for example, but at the moment we have a jump in from the ball lightning. Oh god, they get Propa again! The Hex to follow, no BKB, no buyback either on that hero. They still have the Ravage, they still have pretty much all the ultimates apart from this Finger of Death that was just used. Eye of Skadi also finished on the Shadow Fiend now, does get Viper Strike, but activates that pipe, he's gonna be fine. Even tanks up the tower, although might be a slight mistake. Death Ward is there as well, they need to cancel it, but there's a BKB, nothing to cancel that one. It's doing a huge amount of damage. It might even be enough to just make them back off. He gets off one Requiem of Souls, he's gonna die after for the Death Requiem. So Mesmerizer might be the first casualty, but Beyonce, it's not like he's doing a hell of a lot of damage. Finally, Drainage comes in, Blink, Gush, but they do lose the Aegis. Yomo, he's gonna be next, probably. Paralyzing Cast keeps on bouncing, although Fruits was on the low ground. Man, that fight wasn't all that great, and purely because of just Witch Doctor, BKB, Death Ward.
Yeah, it really kept them off the push, and they're going to have to run away now. There's no lasso on the Batrider, so no potential for them to get an easy pick, but actually Fruit's hiding in the trees. Do they really want to try and go onto this? I think it's a little bit greedy. They're going to go for the port onto Artlist. Can they get him though? Dropping very low, and Beyonce zipping all over the place. They do get the Batrider, so Gem on the deck though, but they lose their Tidehunter. Lion running away for his life because he's only sitting on about 100 HP, and Beyonce going to try and zip onto the high ground. Will he be able to? He will, but there's no blink on these heroes, so it looks like he's going to be able to go home safely. Never mind Propa, he wants revenge. Not going to connect with the fissure though. Beautiful zip out from Beyonce. Can he get out though? Propa chasing. He wants blood. He wants revenge. Beyonce, run for your life, my friend.
Oh god, he gets slowed down by the ghost of the camp. Propa though, he gave up for a little bit. Had he just keep on going, Blink, I think they would have gotten the kill just because Storm Spirit did not carry a TP, but this was not the cautionary tale here of just always carry a TP, so just goes to the side shop, sells I think, yeah, the magic wand. Up to 4.7k gold all of a sudden, which means he needs like another 900 gold to finish up a Hex, if that's the one. Might be Lincoln's, who knows. Whichever item it may be, at least it gives him extra intelligence, extra mana pool with the intelligence, and of course mana regen as well.
Yeah, the Hex pickup on the Storm Spirit, which is inevitably going to be happening, it's going to be massive, especially when you're going to be able to really cast the Hex onto the Batrider. So Batrider's going to have to be very careful with the lassos, because if he gets hexed up, he's going to get ripped to shreds, mauled to death by the Storm Spirit. Even if Propa comes in and tries to go for the Echo Slam, if these heroes on Kingdom are very quick with their spells, very quick with their items, they can potentially cancel it out and just get easy picks. So Volan Turtures, they have to be very, very vigilant. They have to be very careful. They really have to think about what they want to do. They can't play too recklessly like they have been during the early game, because we are closing in towards the later stages of the game, almost 40 minutes. So we could technically classify this as the late game, closing in towards the really late game.
More or less so indeed, but Batrider, he's smoked up, Firefly activated. If they get one huge pick off now, it might be just game deciding. Then again, all the free cores still do have enough gold for buybacks on Kingdom, so man, this game might go for the really long haul. You mentioned we're already pretty much entering the late game phases, and we might even get into the super late game if it continues like this.
I just saw the EE Sama rune picked up on Propa. The EE Sama rune. This might be it. They might even try and go for an engagement, because all their spells are off cooldown. The same could be said to Kingdom. All their spells are off cooldown as well. But Propa, with this double damage rune, look at him now. He's got the Enchant Totem buff. He hits for about 600 with the double damage rune. How much do you think he'd actually hit for?
Well, I guess the double damage isn't that strong on your Earthshakers because you don't have a lot of base damage. So
he does have roughly 100, so bump it up to about 200 base, and then.
So with the Enchant Totem, it's gonna hit for about 800, I think, plus a possible crit from the Crystallis. Oh, they get the Hex to Propa again! No! Zaydane's so Electric Vortex gonna come out. Another kill there. They're just gonna run away from the Death Portal. Then again, they might not be able to do so cleanly. Drainage will go down, will pop the Ravage in here, catches 4 heroes at least, is still alive. The pipe. Spike lands on 2 as well from the Lion. They're gonna lose Mesmerize, I believe. Beyonce a little bit low on mana though, will get lassoed in the end, but where's the damage follow Propa? He got the buyback mid-fight. He gets the jump in. They're gonna kill off the Shadow Fiend. They need more though to make this buyback just totally worth it. Beyonce a little bit low on mana. Art gets him the Viper Strike as well. It's gonna be enough damage, I think. No escape for him. Just gonna go down through poison damage fruits. Does TP out, but man, Earthshaker being able to get enough gold just in the middle of a team fight, kind of lucky, or maybe he was just unlucky to not have buyback immediately, but that was a huge fight. I mean, huge kills for Volt.
Yeah, that was actually a clutch Echo Slam coming out from Propa. It cancelled out the ultimate from Shadow Fiend, so he did not actually manage to cast the Requiem of Souls. He was so close to casting it, and then all of a sudden Propa slam dunk saying, "How dare you cast spells in my game?" Slam dunk.
And wow, we have a Hex picked up on the Viper all of a sudden. That's an item which progression I didn't even see coming at all, to be honest. Not too sure if he just got enough gold to buy the entire thing, or maybe had like an ultimate orb before, but Hex, first of all, gets some nice mana regen, otherwise he's pretty low on mana, but he's gonna have enough for a fight. And even the Batrider with this ultimate orb might be going for Hex of his own, so late game, or well, any stage of the game, Hexes are always great item pickups, of course. So if they get like double Hex, oh, we might see a kill on Viper, possibly, but nope, the Hex comes out in return. Tidehunter in a lot of trouble. Death Ward is there as well. The stuns, they get one down easily, but there's a nice Static Storm BKB from the Viper, gets him out of that one. But Beyonce, he's gonna get Propa again, or is he? No, he's stunned up. My God, he has to escape himself. Batrider still wants to keep on going, has the lasso, but couldn't get close enough. Force Staff was still on cooldown, but they get the tower down. They get another 2 kills. I mean, can they really turn this game around?
Yeah, it's a very back and forth game, and especially with it's just this Death Ward from the Witch Doctor, the BKB Death Ward. They just can't do anything to cancel it. It's just basically what they have to do during the fights is they somehow have to bait it out and then just run away from the AoE of the Death Ward. They just can't fight under it. They can't do anything to cancel it out unless they decide to commit for a full 5-man jump on top of the Witch Doctor, but if you commit to the Witch Doctor, that means that the Earthshaker is free to do whatever he likes. Batrider can jump in through the lasso. Hex on the Viper is going to be available, so they can really keep somebody locked down if they want to. So it's very hard for Kingdom to really decide on who they want to go to during the 5-on-5 engagements. They really need to try and go for one of those really important picks. And if they can get Propa, it's going to be really nice because his buyback is still on cooldown for another 4 more minutes.
Well, it is going to be a little bit easier with this Hex finished on Storm Spirit at the very least, if nothing else, but it's just, how can you even go for the Witch Doctor without getting the jump on him as the initiation? Just because this BKB, it is down to 7 seconds, so it's getting lower and lower, of course, but it's still gonna be like a minimum of 5 seconds of uninterrupted Death Ward time, pretty much. Just because he is up to 1.8k health also, and Kingdom, having gone for those defensive items for most of their heroes, it just means that physical output wise, they're not doing that much, so within the BKB of Witch Doctor, there's almost no chance that he will die unless he's like extremely low before he gets the BKB off.
Yeah, of course. I'm surprised that none of the supports have actually decided to pick up a Ghost Scepter this game. It would really help them for the duration of that Witch Doctor ward, because if they go anywhere near any heroes that are being hit by the Witch Doctor ward, it bounces off to them, and their HP pool is not necessarily the highest on their team, but we are going to have an engagement. They go for the pull onto our Witch Doctor. There's going to be the Witch Doctor ward, but he will die very quickly. Echo Sam going to connect onto 3. They get 2 heroes though. Both supports are down on the side of Kingdom. They're going to try and jump onto oh, actually that was going to be a cancel there, onto the Shadow Fiend ultimate. Now going to continue on focusing onto him. They do actually cast in the end. Ravage going to connect onto 3. There's a very low art list in the backline, so he looks like he should run away. He should not stay. Actually, there is going to be a beautiful jump in from Propa. And Chat going to finish off the Shadow Fiend, but it's now 2 heroes on the side for both teams. But it's a Batrider and an Ogre Magi against a Storm Spirit and Tidehunter. I'd say Kingdom, they've got the best 2 heroes on the map compared to Volan Turtures. But that was a beautiful jump onto the Witch Doctor. They did what they needed to. Just grab him, drop him as quick as they can. That's a lot of the damage output gone, but at what cost? They lose their Shadow Fiend and 2 supports, but they still get a tower. So I'd say that was actually a very good fight there for Kingdom. Very good.
It's just them going in with the smoke like that, getting the insta hex on the Witch Doctor. It was the best hero to run and break the smoke like that. So Kingdom, a little bit lucky there. Also, Echo Slam, had he come in like a second earlier, Death Ward would have gotten, I think, extra at least 2 seconds of duration or something like that. So really nicely fought from them. Of course, they had a lead before this, so I guess you can expect them to fight a little bit better, but that's like their strength, initiation and the raw pick of power that they have. They have the Blink Hex from Lion. They have the Ball Lightning Hex from the side of the Vice of the Storm Spirit. They should almost always have the initiation advantage, even being up against the Batrider, to be honest, because they are so mobile with a couple of their heroes. So finally, they once again make it work for themselves, and Tidehunter up to 3.1k gold. So I guess if he wants to go for it, the Refresher Orb not that long off, but oh god, Drainage, he gets jumped now. They're gonna use the Maledict, but with the Shiva's card, even the Death Ward came out, but he just forced himself out of that one, so I think he's gonna be safe for now. As Witch Doctor also has a Perseverance. Is it gonna be a Refresher or Witch Doctor?
I'm not too sure at the moment. It actually could be a Lincoln Sphere as well, just to cancel out any of those spells that could potentially kick him out of that Death Ward. Especially when the BKB is down to 5 seconds, which it will be during the next cast time. So, I actually think it might be a Lincoln Sphere, to be honest, but Refresher would be a nice item as well, just to have the double Death Ward, so if the first one ends or if it gets cancelled, I just move to a safer position and just throw it out again, because the range for Death Ward's phenomenal.
Oh god, they get the jump on the Storm Spirit as we have a game post. Okay then. It's...
Oh.
Do we have a
Profan's like, what?
buyback? Batrider does have a buyback, so that's a positive. Ogre Magi also just before this fight, or like 30 seconds earlier, managed to pick up an Aghanim Scepter, so level 16 ultimate with a unrefined Fire Blast. But this is going to be a definite kill on the Batrider. There is no escaping this one for him. If you're the dire side, you probably just back the hell out with the rest of the heroes and prepare for a high ground defense, right?
Yeah, you would definitely want to go for the high ground defense. If you look at their lineup, though, they have great high ground defense. They have an Earthshaker, they have the Witch Doctor, they have the Batrider as well to go for the lasso onto somebody and just pull them onto the high ground. If you look at Kingdom, they do have mobile heroes to go onto the high ground, but it's very risky. It's always risky to go up high ground.
Certainly is, and they also use the pipe here as well. I guess they were expecting some kind of resistance to come here. So pipe is on cooldown, maybe not the biggest deal in the grand scheme of things, but like you said, there is an Earthshaker, so if anybody is close to those creeps, they're just gonna get jumped so bad. At the moment, the Viper Strike thrown out. Oh, Blink! Earthspike comes out, they're gonna go for Pro Power, and the Blink Ravages will catch everybody for the BKBs. Static Storm to follow, making sure there will be no BKB follow-up anyway. And they don't have a Death Ward for another 3 seconds. It's still on cooldown from the attempt. They try to go on the Tidehunter. More stuns, 3 heroes down, none of them have buybacks and Kingdom. This might be it, although the Death Ward with the BKB. Is he really gonna kind of solo defend this? Maybe so. BKB ends and he gets hexed up. But it's enough to just make it so that they're not gonna lose racks. Paralyzing Cast won't bounce to anybody because the other target just blinked away before this one. But Beyonce still low on mana, has one more bottle charge, so I think he's gonna make it out, but man, Death Ward just to the rescue.
It looks so good for Kingdom, just because the Death Ward was still on cooldown. If it was available during that fight, it would have been a completely different fight for Kingdom. But it came online at the end, and all of a sudden Kingdom, they just forced back. They only lose 2 supports though, so it's looking pretty good for them, whereas Volan Turtures, they lost... Didn't they lose Propa? Did he buy back? Yeah,
yes,
he bought
back with the Batrider, I think. Oh, the Echo Slam buys a little bit of extra time for the Witch Doctor. Batrider comes in as well. They're gonna get the Storm Spirit. Pretty great kill for him, of course. Respawn time not that long thanks to the Blaststone, but is there any escape for the Tidehunter? I don't think so. Butterfly in the meantime is finished up on the Shadow Fiend, so getting like a... Well, it's not like that high of a damaging item, I guess, but for survivability it's nice, extra attack speed, whatnot, but they don't get racks, and from the way this fight started, nice jump onto the Earthshaker, great Ravage from the Tidehunter as well, just unable to properly follow up there, but even so, Tidehunter still pretty damn close to that. Refresher Orb being finished, needs another 800 gold for that one. And we do have a Lincoln Sphere, like you said on the Witch Doctor, probably is better than the Refresher Orb, but he's gonna have to somewhat play reactively with this Lincoln Sphere, maybe even use it on somebody else if you see a long zipping coming in, just to make sure there's no insta-hex, for example.
Yeah, it's going to be a very good item for his teammates. I actually have a question for you, because I'm not too sure about the interaction between Butterfly Evasion and the Witch Doctor Death Ward. Because Death Ward's physical damage, is there a chance that Shadow Fiend can actually evade the damage with the Butterfly? Or is it kind of like it isn't like a spell where it always hits something?
I don't think you can evade with that one, but man, I'm not too hyped up on mechanics myself.
I'll have to find that out. That's something I should actually know. It sounds very interesting.
I think it does not, because I don't believe Ghost Scepter helps you against Death Ward either. So I'd say it shouldn't evade that one, but even if it evades, the bounces should still go, I think. If like Shadow Fiend is the first one, I think it's still gonna bounce, maybe just not hitting Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, I think it would still bounce, but I'm not too sure if there's going to be a chance. We'll have to see. We might actually see it happening. So I'll watch the Shadow Fiend during the next engagement. Unless I might get somebody to help.
I bet the chat will be nice enough to
tell
us how stupid we are and how the right way is.
Yeah, chat, see if you can find out the mechanics for us. Does evasion work for the Witch Doctor Death Ward? You get a free cookie.
Oh, free cookies. I'm gonna go Google it myself.
You don't count.
Some more lags. It's like, it feels we're getting so close to the end of the series. Or, well, the end of the game, but we're just having pauses now. Then again, since no racks have fallen, we haven't even come extremely close. I guess 1 tier 3 is pretty low on health, but other than that, I guess the last fight was the closest we might have felt like this might be GG with 3 heroes dead without buyback, but I do believe Earthshaker once again got buyback mid-fight, or got enough gold for the buyback mid-fight.
I'm not too sure. I actually didn't manage to check his buyback status. I've had it open.
I'm pretty sure when the 3 heroes died, I didn't see the buyback indicator under his like profile picture at the top of the screen, but sometimes it bugs out the indicator on that little profile thingy.
Yeah, that second Roshan looks like it's gonna go to Volan Turtures free. Actually, Beyond's gonna jump in. Oh my goodness, very, very cocky play there from him. It looks like he wants to try and go for a steal, but Roche is dropping very low, because if you look at Volan Turtures lineup, they have a very bad Roche lineup, and they lose Bat Rider instantly. The Bat is already dead. Mesmerize stuck in the ultimate there from our Disruptor, and actually this mid-ravage is going to connect onto both heroes, and Lincoln Spear not going to save you this time, Witch Doctor, I'm afraid, and looks like it's going to be a complete team wipe on the side of Volan Turtures Kingdom. Looks like they've finally done it. They've finally broken this defense. Lag! Lag! Oh.
Are they really going to pause here? It's like, how much control of your hero do you need to kill off Roshan? I don't know, it feels like a weird pause to be honest, but everybody's dead, none of them have buybacks. Of course, if you're Kingdom, you can only know that Patra and Earthshaker have their buybacks on cooldown. But that was a clean fight. First of all, Patra got jumped, got hexed, couldn't do anything at all. Death Ward, it felt like Shadow Fiend took no damage, but it also might have to do something with him having a high amount of armor as well.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, so Death Ward can be evaded, so I guess that's why he didn't take any damage. At least chat is saying so.
Oh, cool. We learned something today.
Well, it's some people are saying different things, but I guess you can evade it. I don't know. It's kind of like a projectile, I guess. It is like an. Yeah,
Sorry, you go first.
No, I have nothing to say about the matter.
Oh. I just made the assumption because it does instances of physical damage, so I just assumed that there would be chances of evasion to proc. So I'll probably have to go into a practice lobby and figure out what's wrong, or not really what's wrong, but what's up.
So at least Storm Spirit is coming back, and what are the odds that Kingdom cannot finish the game now within the death timers of the dire side?
They should be able to get at least 2 sets of Raxes, at least. They do have some decent damage on the Shadow Fiend now. He's hitting for about 300 per pop, and he attacks at literally 0.53 seconds per attack. So essentially 2 seconds per second. 2 attacks per second? Yes. He attacks relatively quickly. Storm Spirit's still not hitting hard. He's only hitting at about 200. You'd hope he could actually do more, but because he's got essentially 3 defensive items, it really limits his capacity to do damage, aside from his ball lightning.
Well, I just think this should be GG. I guess there's a tiny chance with this way. We thought this might be GG or should be possibly GG from one team earlier on already. Kingdom, they have been looking pretty great. I mean, they've had a lead for like 40 minutes of this game or something. But man, they get the Aegis, Storm Spirit with it, of course. One of these gear heroes to have it.
Yeah,
So
that means he can be a little bit more YOLO, and he just comes back at full HP mana, so he can just zip out again if he wants to, unless there's a Hex on the field, but nobody but the Hex is going to come back, because they're still dead for another 50 seconds. The first one to spawn is Yoga Magi, but what can he do, aside from maybe the tiniest chance of just going for a double 4-time multicast?
even when you can maybe kill off one with double 4 times multicast. I mean, Lion and even Disruptor, I mean, 1.8k HP, even he might not die from that, so they're just going for all the racks. They're not going for straight out GG, playing it safe, getting the supersized mega creeps. And really looks like this is GG here, although GG is not cold, but I don't see any other way. They even hex up Mesmerize Beyonds. He's gonna get the kill solo, maybe not, we'll see. Dodges a couple of stuns there. Link is helps out a little bit, and he's gonna go deep with this.
Oh.
And he gets it. So, kind of an anticlimactic ending to this game, really.
Actually, they're going to go for the pull onto Beyonce, and they actually use the Death Ward as well. Beyonce's dead, but Death Ward, Shadow Fiend, he's still hanging around.
Man.
Oh my goodness.
Well, that is for certain that if you're hexed, evasion does not work, but even then, just the high amount of armor that he has, even then they're forcing him to wall that much, and it's just Kingdom, they did not have the lineup to just battle, like, or rather Volan Turtures did not have the lineup to battle Kingdom this late in the game. Well, you have an Echo Slam, but immediate Hex afterwards, and well, this is just GG.
Yeah, there's a GG call as well by both sides, but that was a very interesting game, very action-packed. It wasn't very passive. There were moments you could say of maybe 5-minute portions of farming, but both teams really keeping up with the aggression.
Well, Kingdom in the end, make it a 1-1 result. It is a 2-game series, so no game 3 coming out from this one. But we do have one extra series coming out in about 10 minutes just because this game went for so damn long. So we are gonna have X Game versus Elysium coming out for Join Dota League Europe. It is Division 2 also. X Game, of course, used to be in Division 1 for all the past 4 seasons, I believe. Now though, couldn't get through the playoffs anymore, so in 10 minutes, Elysium versus X Game coming up, another 2-game series. And until then, guys, thank you. Appreciated that you came and watched us. Hopefully you enjoyed the games as well as the casting. And of course, appreciated that you also casted with me, Danny. And any last words?
Yeah, I don't really have any last words, but thanks for having me. I really enjoy being here. Guys, if you're watching in Twitch, definitely visit my Twitch channel and send me some advice, send me some comments, tell me what I did wrong, tell me what I did right. I would really appreciate some feedback. I can't stress how much I want feedback, but I'll tell people, hey, could you just give me some tips on what I should be doing better? And they'll say, hey, yeah. And I'll watch my inbox and nothing will come through. So, guys, go to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/DannyLee, DANELIE. Please, feedback. I need it.
So, do what she says. People, do what she says. But we're gonna see you in about 10 minutes again, guys. If you want to stay around, of course. So, in 10 minutes, X Game versus Elysium, 2-game series coming up.